Hey everyone, welcome back to Halo Halo Conversations. I'm Myra.
And I'm Maureen.
If you've been hanging out with us for a while, welcome back. And if you're new here, we're two Filipino sisters sharing stories, laughs, and life lessons along the way.
And today we're diving into the Filipino beauty standards we were raised with, from whitening soap and colorism
to all the appearance-based criticism, or pintas, we heard growing up, and how we're learning to unlearn them.
Let's get into it.
So before we get into today's conversation, we wanted to take a moment to say thank you. One of our favorite parts of creating Halo Halo Conversation has been reading your comments and hearing your stories.
So today we're sharing a comment from one of our viewers. The comment is from At Home with Carrie 4486. And she said, "Love this. You ladies crack me up. Speaking of food delivery, the only food delivered when we were growing up was pizza. And the big thing was, if Domino's didn't deliver in 30 minutes or less, your pizza was free," which I do remember that. And I remember hoping that they would be late so that we didn't have to pay.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. Well, thank you so much for the comment and thank you for watching us.
Yes, thank you.
So if you want to be featured in a future community scoop, leave us a comment, share a memory, a family story, or something one of our episodes reminded you of. We might read yours next. Okay, so let's go to our first segment. So let's talk about the whitening product that a lot of Filipinos know that you could buy at a Mercury drug back in the Philippines. It's this orange box that says papaya soap. I mean, if you want to talk more about that, because I feel like you used that more than I did. I didn't really use it that much, but go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, so I remember mommy used to buy me, whenever she would go home to the Philippines, she would buy some Kojic soap. So it's
Kojic.
like a little orange bar. I know they have like different brands, but the one that she bought was like specifically Kojic soap. And so it's orange, it's a little orange bar. And I remember because I used to be, well, I mean, I used to be kind of obsessed with like, being
Ooh, skin whitening.
yeah, well, not so much skin whitening, but I always wanted to have like kind of like fair skin, so that it's even toned, like your skin is even, right? So I wasn't as lucky as Myra because she was always the lighter one. And so she didn't have a problem with that, but I was always labeled as the black beauty, especially when I would get like in the summer and I would get really tan. And so I was kind of conscious about that. And then she brought back some Kojic soap and what it is. So you wash with this orange soap and you have to like leave it on your skin for a little bit. And once it starts tingling, then you have to make sure you wash it off. Otherwise, it's going to burn. Did you ever use that? No, right?
Oh, no, I use that for armpit, like, because mommy always says, if you want your armpit to be lighter, and I was like, okay, let me try it. So, but
But you didn't
honestly,
even need anything for your armpit.
no, for me, like, during the summertime is when I get a little bit tan. So I do get tan. It's just not like, I turn lighter, I guess, like during the cold winter times or
Winter,
whatever.
yeah. Which
Yeah.
I think we all, most of us
Yeah.
do, but just like obviously not as light as your family. Like you guys get really light, kind of white. You know what I mean?
Like
So,
Ryan and Richie never got lighter, even they've always been tan, is my point.
well,
Like,
I mean, like we covered this in the first episode that you're the mailman's kid. So I mean, that's probably why you,
oh my
you got
God.
the lighter complexion. So
But no, if mommy would have seen this, she would have been like, okay, she got it for me. But anyway,
yeah,
going back to the
because
soap.
yeah. No, I was gonna say because I don't know, like we all got daddy's complexion, so
Mhm.
like they used to joke about our dad, so he was kind of darker, which it's funny because it was a running joke between like because my
Family.
husband, well, my husband's black, but then like he would always joke around like your daddy's darker than me, so that's how much darker our dad was. But there was a joke, a running joke before that, how like when women are pregnant, they usually crave stuff, right? And so they would joke that when our grandma was pregnant with our dad, she used to crave like burnt leche flan. Isn't that so terrible?
I never heard that.
Yes. It's
That's so messed
terrible.
up. That is messed up. Nobody would. I just think that he just got his father's side of the family's probably skin complexion. Like, come on now. There's no such thing as eating burnt leche flan. Such an urban myth. It's so sad. Oh my god. But anyway, so going back to the skin whitening that Filipinos are obsessed about, you got to go to Doctora Vicky Bello or some type of famous dermatologist that will get you as light as Koreans or the actresses that you see on TV, that kind of thing, you know.
Well, they
So.
were known like Dr. Vicky Bello, they were known for like if you wanted to kind of whiten your skin, so they would inject what's called like I think it's like glutathione or something is what they would inject, and so like you have to have I don't know how many rounds of it, but supposedly it's supposed to help lighten your skin.
But we never tried it, and we're not really interested. We just tried the soap. But if you guys have tried the shots or that lightning injection, comment down below and let us know more about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. In the Philippines, they say like you're not supposed to put on deodorant because there's something in the deodorant that's supposed to like make your armpit darker. So they used to make us put on like so it's called tawas, but essentially it's like this hard white like kind of like a rock formation if you may, and then you have to ano ba tawag na sa English dik how do you
No, like you gotta pound on it.
yeah, and you gotta like break it apart so that it becomes like this powdery substance. And then, so after you shower, you're supposed to, instead of putting on deodorant, you're supposed to put on this thing under your armpit because I think a lot of Filipinos have an obsession with armpits and especially
Oh, it's for you.
having like
You're
white
obsessed.
having like white armpits, and so I remember after showering they would have us put on this tawas, it's like a powder, and so you would like put the powder in your armpit like that, and then I mean just think about it, all of the damn powder is just like all over the ground, all over the bathroom floor, and then you're supposed to let it like dry off, I guess, I don't know, but just think about it, having powder on your
Armpit.
armpit. Yeah, and that's
But
supposed to like be deodorant.
did it help whiten your kilikili?
I mean, okay, so I think it did. So there was a brand, but it's a roll-on deodorant that's supposed to have this Tawas like formula in there. So that did help.
Oh,
There,
so it is
yeah,
true.
so it is, but I need it now. So comment below if you need me to send you my address so that you can mail me one if you're in the Philippines.
Oh my god. Do you even know what brand it is?
I want to say it's just called Tawas brand, but I don't know.
Really? All right.
Yeah, so I know this is like just not a Filipino thing. It's probably very common amongst like Asian cultures. So comment below if you also have this standard in your culture.
If you guys were, it is a norm for your culture to look a certain way. Okay, so this next part we're gonna play a little game. It's a Filipino beauty standard bingo. So yeah, so it's a little bingo. So raise your hand if someone ever pinched your nose.
All the time.
Okay.
I used to do it to my kids too, guilty.
And then, did you ever hear the comments about a flat or pango nose? Can you tell us a little bit about that? You know, the Filipino nose, as they call it, right? So, growing up, like if you're dark skinned with the pango nose and and the not straight hair, right? That's like kind of like that's not the typical what Filipino want to look like. They want to look light skinned with a little bit of pointy nose and straight hair. It's like because that's what they see on TV. You know, all these actresses, actors that are like half Filipino, half something. You know, of course they're gonna have that mixed breed. Of course they're gonna look not the typical Filipino.
Yeah, but think about it. We were on an island. Like our freaking country is like a bunch of islands, 7,000 plus to be exact,
near the
And
equator.
right. So where did you think you were going to be light skinned there?
I guess if you're just indoors and not
Right.
going out, right?
Doesn't
Like
make any sense.
they call people with like a little bit like tan skin farmers because the farmers always were out in the field, and so they always say, "Ah, you look like a what's a farmer in Tagalog?
Magsasaka?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Well, no,
like
like remember how they used to make fun of the yung ita? I don't remember. Do you know what I'm talking about? They had the curly hair, they had the dark skin. We'll put a picture up of them,
Yeah.
but they used to like make derogatory terms. So anybody that was like dark, they would say some negative terms like negro or negra, you know,
Well,
whatever.
that would be my next question is raise your hand if somebody ever called you itim.
I
Okay, none of
mean,
us. Yeah, we didn't get called, but
they didn't get called that, but I remember one time when I was a teenager, one of Kuya Gerald's friends described me as Black Beauty just because I got a tan.
that's
But
just so
okay,
wrong.
whatever.
Well, raise your hand if your mom told you to stay out of the sun. Definitely. Definitely all the
Oh,
time.
do you have the same mom as me?
Of course. So tell us a little bit about the umbrella in the sun thing, Filipinos or Asians, just so they won't get dark, they gotta have that umbrella. Here in
Yeah.
America, it's always apply your sunscreen. There, it's like you gotta have your umbrella or your hat that covers your whole hair, your whole head, or something like that.
Right.
But I feel like that's how they want to make sure that you don't get dark or itim.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, I'm guilty of that like because like I said I grew up with that mentality. And so my girls, they used to play golf when they were younger and we would watch tournaments. And of course, like it would be in the summer or like early fall and it would still be very hot. So I would always bring an umbrella. I would be walking with some of these Americans and they're like, did you know that it's not raining? Like it's sunny. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's hot. So I'm like, I'm going to be under this umbrella. And so the golf coach, she already knew that it was me because I was always carrying an umbrella.
that's so funny. That's so Filipino.
But I mean, like, even if you look at some of the Asian golfers on tour, they're always wearing the long sleeve shirts, even in the summer, because they don't want to get dark.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is raise your hand if someone said your hair looked pretty or straight.
I mean, I guess, because I know for me, like, I don't have the fine hair that you do. But
Well,
tell them about like what happened to your hair.
no, so actually my hair now is wavy. I straighten it just because I like my hair straighter, but I have wavy hair. So when I get out of the shower, I could actually just scrunch it with using like mousse and it kind of, stays wavy. But I think the reason why it became wavy because I had like really straight hair when I was younger. But then our mom wanted us to have, well, me. She did an experiment on my hair. She cut it short, and then she did the really kinky like curls. So it's like kinky meaning like really really tiny curls. And so Kuya Gerald was making fun of me that I look like Nanai Jr. So I had, if I could find a picture, we'll put it up on the screen. But I had curly hair when I was younger, and I hated it because the typical classmates I have in the Philippines, they had like long hair, the black, long, and everything. It's like pretty. So I
Straight.
always and straight, yeah. So me having the curly hair and short, I never had long hair when I was younger because my mom always had an obsession of cutting hair. Like even when we moved to America, my sixth grade picture was also short. If I could find a picture of that, I'll pop it up on the screen. But yeah, always had short hair. So I was able to just grow my hair when I was in high school when she had no control of cutting hair anymore. So, but yeah, that was my little story about my hair. Oh my God, crazy.
Yeah, but I know like in the Philippines, they're kind of obsessed with the whole straightening. And so they would go through this process of what's called like rebonding, which essentially it's like they put some chemical on your hair that's supposed to like make it straight and leave it straight for like many months. So as Myra said, you know, usually, obviously, if you live in a very humid area, your hair would get kind of poofy. So that was their way of making sure that it was straighter, longer, like for, I don't know how long it lasts, like maybe a couple of weeks or maybe a month. I
Oh
don't know.
really?
But like, yeah, yeah. So without having to straighten it. So that's the whole
Mm,
point of putting the chemical in your hair.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But
Hmm.
yeah, so if you have any hair stories, drop it down in the comments below. Okay, and the last one is raise your hand if somebody compared you to your prettier cousin or sister or just any other girl.
You didn't. I
Mm,
did. Who did you
I
get
think
compared to?
Pia.
What?
I
I
was
don't think
joking.
so.
Okay, so tell us about your little story. I mean, you kind of mentioned it in our previous episode, but the
Yes.
comparison with the body shaming.
Oh, yes. So, of course, in a previous episode, I mentioned that I was compared to one of my older cousins. She's a couple years older than me, but she was always like, she was the everything, like she was pretty, she was
Long
smart, she
hair,
was skinny, she had long hair, big boobs, whatever, you name it, she
perfect
had
teeth, I guess.
everything. I don't know if she had perfect teeth, but maybe when she got older. But anyway, like she was like everything, and you had the picture of the ugly duckling. That was me. So I was always compared. I was always compared to her, and yeah, that was that.
So besides the being compared to her, just like the expectation of our bodies to look a certain way, to not gain a certain weight or, something like that, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
remember like our mom, I can't wear both you and her are skinny, so like I can't wear anything that she has because like I'm bigger than oh, you can't have any of my clothes.
right, she's always saying, "Oh, you fit as small." Like you're like, "Oh, you're not a big person. Why does she get so surprised that you fit as small?" Like, you know. So anyway,
Yeah,
drop it down below if you have a mom or a tita that ever compared you to the skinnier one or the prettier one. I'm sure you guys have some stories too. So okay, so we can move on to
okay.
where this actually came from. So I got curious and actually looked into where all of this comes from because it's not just an American thing, like I always assumed.
Oh, it's not?
Nope. So, way before the Spanish, way before any of that, if you were rich, you didn't have to work outside, so you stayed pale. Poor people, oh my God, this is so sad, but poor people worked the fields, got dark. I think that's what we were saying, like the farmer look or whatever. Yep, that's it. That's the whole original thing.
So it was already all about money before it was ever about what we think it is now.
It's just been layers after layers. So basically,
So because we did some research, we didn't know that this was a thing. So apparently in the Philippines, there was this thing called binukot. So binukot, apparently there were some tribes in the Visayan area, basically the middle section of the country, right? Of in the Philippines, I should say, where they literally pick up a girl and they just keep her inside. So, like her whole entire childhood, no sun, no chores, nothing, just so she could end up pale and have long hair. I've
that's
never heard
just
that.
too. I've never heard that, and that's just too much. It's not even like because we're kind of like colonized by like Americans or Spaniards. It's just, the back in the day, right? Like the Filipinos did that still.
Yeah,
Can't
I
believe that.
I had no idea that was something that was done to us. And so it's sad to think that someone from your own,
Kind.
town, yeah, your
Mhm.
own kind would even do that same thing to you before, even any of this whole colonization came about.
Yeah, that is messed up.
Yeah. So in the Philippines, it's such a big compliment if you are called mestiza. Myra,
Hmm.
explain why.
So basically, mestiza means when you get complimented that she's like, oh, she's pretty because she has a lighter complexion.
Yes,
Messed up.
it
So you're
is
not pretty
messed
when you're
up.
a little bit darker.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So our next one is how did it actually shape how we saw ourselves growing up and even now?
Okay.
Um, so do you avoid going out in the sun now during the summer? Do you buy a specific product to make your skin look lighter? Can you give me a little bit of like how is it now? Like how are you are as an adult? Do you follow the same beauty standards that we used to have back in the Philippines?
I mean, it is kind of hard, because it's already kind of ingrained in our brain, like they don't want to get dark. So I think even up to now, like I think I gotta
If your
put
kids are
sunscreen on or else I know they're
your
gonna
kids are
be,
watching this, they're already gonna be rolling their eyes because they know you don't want to get dark. I already could
yeah.
hear them. Hmm.
Yeah, I know. I'm guilty of it. I've said this to them, and of course, because they're mixed, right? Obviously, now I understand that there's nothing wrong with being tan, right? There's nothing wrong with being brown. Just because you're fair skinned doesn't make you prettier than somebody who's not. So it was just something hard to kind of, unlearn, I guess, in our mind, because it was just something that we were taught, right? That
No,
fair
no,
skin is beautiful.
no. The funny thing that you say that is obviously in the Philippines, yeah, like being tan is considered as, poor, not pretty. But moving to America, for me, the surprise that I got was you're surrounded with all the Americans, so they have light skin and they want to get our color. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I love your skin color. Like you're so tan." And so to me, every summer I want to get my tan on, so I kind of evolved into the American standard of during the summer layout, if you want to just put sunscreen on, like you said, like protect your skin because of skin cancer, right? But for me, the only thing that I protect or that I don't want super dark would be my face. But as you could see, like we just came back from vacation and I'm tan and we like it. We like getting our tan on during the summer. But for me, moving to America and being here for a while already, like I like to get my tan skin during the summer. So that's how I evolved with how it was in the Philippines.
Well, that's
Um,
good. I know my kids would be complaining, and they watch this, so they probably would want to comment and saying like, yeah, it was bad that I said some things to them about don't get too dark or you're getting too dark. So
I don't
sorry,
even think your
children.
girls. No, but your kids are like tan, in my opinion, not dark or anything. But I mean, obviously, because of our color, like we do get tan or darker than the typical,
Easily.
yeah, like
Yeah.
whiter complexion. So ours, it actually turns. They're jealous of how ours turn like olive, like a olive complexion. So now it's like a flex more than oh, you look poor or you look ugly. It's like they like what we have. So um,
Just make sure though that you put your sunscreen on, because the the sun can really hurt your skin.
no, I
Harm your
agree.
skin. Yes. So if you're guilty of it, comment below if you caught yourself saying something like this to your own kid. So
Okay.
so I mean, I feel like it's the moment when that actually matters. Not that it slips out, that you catch yourself, like you correct yourself and realize that there's nothing wrong with not being light. So
Yes. Okay. So it's Cheesemas Corner time.
okay, so this week's Chismis Corner is actually perfect for today's episode, and I promise I didn't plan that.
Yes. But go ahead.
So there's a story going around about UCLA scientists who just came out with a new mineral sunscreen that doesn't leave that white chalky cast. You know the one I'm talking about?
Oh my gosh. Yes. The ghost look.
The ghost look, exactly. So apparently, regular zinc oxide sunscreen scatters light and leaves this white cast, and it's honestly the worst on darker skin tones. Like it's the most noticeable on us.
Which is why half the Filipino titas I know refuse to wear sunscreen. Yeah, because you know what I do? I just spray, like use the spray sunscreen, rub it, and then do that.
Oh,
Or like
really?
or I have like the sunscreen that I have like that I use every morning, and that's my sunscreen.
Hmm.
So, but anyway, go
So,
ahead.
well, I know I was gonna say like I like the super group. I don't know if you've ever used that, but it's very light on your skin.
No, I didn't.
It's
I've never
called,
tried that.
yeah, the super goop. I think I like that one. So it's not very like thick, but yeah, okay.
I'm sure you're gonna put it up on the screen.
Oh no,
Just for
I don't want to
anybody
say
that's
that.
interested. They might
I
do a
want to.
thing for us
I know. I'm
sponsored.
like I want that product. But anyway, so this is so real. Okay, so these scientists basically redesigned the shape of the zinc oxide particles, and they made them into these little four-arm shapes, and it blends into the skin instead of sitting on top of it looking chalky.
Mm. So wait, but isn't that kind of funny timing? The whole episode we've been talking about hiding from the sun so we won't get dark, and now there's literally scientists trying to make sunscreen work better for darker skin. Wow,
Right. Like
so
that's the
funny.
opposite. That's the opposite reason, not to stay pale. It's actually to protect your skin and don't look weird by doing it.
Okay. I mean, I would love to do that. That's pretty good. That's the version of this conversation I want my daughter to grow up with or my daughters.
Okay, comment below if you've ever had a sunscreen white cast horror story because I know we're not the only ones who've walked outside like a powdered donut. I
Ugh,
don't think I've ever
about
walked outside with a powdered donut, but I do know like how like in the summer you put on the not it's not a face sunscreen, it's just a sunscreen that you put all over your body. What are the brands? I don't know.
copper
But
tone, copper
yeah,
tone.
copper tone. So like if you put the copper tone like sunscreen all over your face, then you'll definitely get the white cast because it's not for the face, it's for the whole body. So
I don't
that's what
like
I
those. That's
imagine whenever they say the powdered donut look.
honestly, they gotta, instead of like the lotion, they should gotta think about the spray mist. That would be better for like sunscreen if to go out in the sun, that kind of thing. But anyway, I don't get it
I mean,
either.
I think they have that already, right? Like just a spray
A
sunscreen. But the
mist.
thing is,
Mhm.
like you have to be careful with your not to spray it in your eye.
That's true. But yes. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Okay. It's not that hard of an episode. It's actually fun.
you
It's just
think?
it's one of the harder episodes. Yeah, because I don't think we really had horror stories.
No, I mean, like I think it's probably more of in some of the episodes that we've done, it's been more fun, uplifting, positive, and this one is a little bit more like talking about some of the like you said pintas or some of the criticisms and some of the I mean I think it's an effect of the whole colonization thing of how we think about what's our image of beauty, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
because we
definitely.
were influenced by it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not like it's a harder episode to talk about, but like you said, yeah, our episode has been about um kind of like light, fun kind of thing. So this one is kind of going back to how Filipinos have this beauty standard expectation or beauty standard that people kind of want to have, right? So yes, it's not that easy to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like honestly I think it's probably, and I'm not trying to generalize, but it's probably more common amongst like Asian cultures because I know we're not the only ones that have this mentality of like, I have to have like the fair skin, right? I mean,
Right. No, that's funny that you say that. For Koreans, it's like the double eyelids. To them, that's important. That's part of their beauty standard, right? And then, but they already have like perfect skin because they take care of their face and whatever. So now I feel like
oh,
an
they have the
Asian.
glass skin. That's the thing that Koreans are known for and wanting to have that glass skin.
And it's funny. I mean, now that we're talking about like skin and standards or whatever, for us now that we're in our 40s, like what's more important is not about like being tan or like the beauty standard for skin tone. It's more like the wrinkles and looking young, that kind of thing. So I'm glad that there are products, especially catered for the Asian complexion, that is helping us keep our skin looking younger, that kind of thing. So it's really evolved a lot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I am happy that it now point of views change, right? Like it's not really a matter of like the skin color. It's really more about like how we look and look younger, kind of like that. Like it's changed to that now, I guess. But maybe because we were older, right? But we don't really care more about the skin color. Like, oh, I gotta be like not so dark or whatever kind of thing.
Well, I think what you're just trying to say is that now that we're in our 40s, that you care more about aging gracefully, I think is what you're trying to say, more so than like really caring about your look per se. You know, like you just want to age gracefully. Obviously, of course, you're not going to be able to get away from the wrinkles no
Mhm.
matter how much you inject stuff. Aging is just part of it, and we should be proud of how we look as we age. We have to be able to just embrace that, I think.
Yes. So yeah, so drop it down in the comments if you have a beauty rule your family had growing up, Filipino or not, or I guess, and that you're still unlearning. I guess that's kind of like how we're trying to unlearn, right? So what's the one thing that you're taking away from this conversation? To me, the one thing that I'm taking away from this conversation is beauty has evolved now, right? So right now, like we don't really care about the how light we are. It's just how we want to just look and feel good, I guess. Embracing the imperfections, like having the Filipino nose, I'm okay with that. Before being light is better, but then I told you moving to America, having the tan skin is a flex. So it's really just about how you feel um And that's it.
No, I love that actually. Thanks for sharing that realization
Mhm.
because yeah, I agree with you that I know for the longest time I think many Filipinos they all wanted to get a nose lift or like you said get some of these whitening products and stuff because we were always made to think that if you have the flat nose and if you were dark that you weren't pretty. But we
Mhm.
all have to be able to just embrace what God has given us as far as like everybody has their own set of or how do we want to say it like
The
everybody's
beauty is in the
beautiful
eye
in
of
their yeah
the beauty
everyone's
is in the eye of the
beautiful
beholder.
and yeah everyone's beautiful in their own way so and it's just you have to just embrace whatever you've been given so
Yeah.
I know it's human nature for people to want things that you don't have. You know, like Myra mentioned earlier when we moved here, some of the Americans they're like, you know, oh, I wish I had the tan skin. I think it's just human nature. We always want what we don't have, but I think we should learn how to be happy with what we have.
Yes.
That's my takeaway.
Good takeaway. So yeah, what's a beauty rule your family had growing up, Filipino or not, that you're still unlearning? Drop it down in the comments below.
All right.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot more stories to tell. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. If today's conversation reminded you of your sister, cousin, friend, or family member, share this episode with them.
Whether you're far from your siblings or just need a little nostalgia, we hope you leave feeling a little closer to us and maybe even your own family.
Until next time, keep mixing life, laughter, and memories, halo halo style. See you next time on
Holla Holla Conversations. Bye.
Bye.